A Star Wars director has said that their dream is to work with Samuel L. Jackson so badly that they've proposed bringing back Mace Windu.
Mandalore!
And this is all thanks to a recent interview that the site called The Direct did with Bryce Howard. And this debate seems to come up at least once a year, and personally I'm all for it because it sparks some of the best Star Wars conversations. Now whether you think he survived or not, the fact that people are still talking about Mace Windu nearly 2 decades after Revenge of the Sith says a lot. And when someone like Bryce Howard, who's worked closely with Filoni and directed some of the best episodes of The Mandalorian, starts bringing it up again, that's absolutely worth paying attention to. Let me know in the comments if you think Mace is still alive and if he could have survived that fall, or do you think he's dead? The Mandalorian director Bryce Dallas Howard addressed her previous comments about potentially getting Samuel L. Jackson back into the Star Wars fray with his Mace Windu character. When asked about the iconic actor potentially reprising his prequel trilogy role, Howard admitted that she wants to work with Sam Jackson in Star Wars or not. So basically Bryce Dallas Howard is saying that she'd work with Sam Jackson in any project, it doesn't specifically need to be in Star Wars. Howard says, well, I mean I want to work with Sam Jackson just no matter what, in any circumstance, and I also love working in Star Wars. I harassed Dave Filoni a lot about a lot of things, Howard remarked, and bringing back Jackson is one of them. However, those conversations have not added up to anything. So that's interesting. She's even gone to the future head of Star Wars, Dave Filoni, about it. And she goes on to say, and so you know I harassed Dave Filoni a lot about a lot of things, and that's just one. But yeah, no, that was just a fun conversation, but didn't add up to anything. The article says, in April, the Mandalorian director let slip that Jackson told her he would act in something that she directed, which he promptly took to Lucasfilm Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni. This sparked rampant speculation amongst the Star Wars fandom, with fans wondering how if Jackson's Mace Windu could ever return to the galaxy far, far away. So there's absolutely some conversations happening in the background, even at the top level, and it's not only us fans wishing for Mace Windu to make a reappearance in Star Wars. And as we are all aware, Sam Jackson himself has made it clear time and time again that Mace isn't dead, with him most recently talking about it in Empire magazine last year, where he had 3 words to say on Mace Windu's death scene. He's not dead. And when asked what he'd want to do in a Mace Windu Disney series, his response was just everything yes. So yeah, he's absolutely enthusiastic and really wants to play Mace Windu again. Now what's really interesting is that back in 2016 in an Entertainment Weekly interview, and this was the interview that Sam Jackson began his campaign for Jedi Can Fall from Amazing Distances. But he mentions George Lucas himself gave Sam Jackson his blessing to return, and according to Samuel L. Jackson, George is like, I'm okay with that, you can be alive. And Samuel L. Jackson even mentions there's a long history of one-handed Jedi, and that he's willing to learn to fight left-handed if it meant stepping back into Mace Windu's boots. Now I hadn't heard before about George giving his approval for Mace Windu coming back alive, but as we know, when it comes to Samuel L. Jackson, George is kind of a pushover. I mean, George even broke his own world building in order to give Samuel L. Jackson a purple lightsaber, which Samuel L. Jackson requested. Now for myself, I'm fully on board with bringing Mace Windu back, not just because of the amazing storytelling potential, but because Samuel L. Jackson is one of the saga's biggest advocates. You know, he really seems to love Star Wars and really enjoyed playing Mace Windu in the past. And I think Star Wars could really use another actor that's passionate and energetic and just really advocates for Star Wars. But there is an issue with Mace Windu coming back to life, because in Star Wars there's kind of become an epidemic of characters returning from the dead. You know, we've got Maul, Boba Fett, Palpatine, Asajj Ventress. It's kind of become a running joke in Star Wars. And then if we had Mace Windu come back to life, probably nobody would take the impact of a death in Star Wars seriously anymore. Now, in that same issue of Empire magazine, Hayden Christensen actually talks about Anakin's duel with Mace, and the level of insight and understanding that Hayden gave about Anakin Skywalker's character really made me begin to rethink my own personal stance on Mace's resurrection. Hayden says that the scene is the tipping point in Anakin's fall to the dark side. He has Mace Windu and Darth Sidious, Jedi and Sith, both pleading for his allegiance, and he has to make a choice. He goes on to say, when we were filming that scene, George spoke about how Anakin was conflicted but not yet corrupted, and that Anakin still wanted to do the right thing. Hayden goes on to say that it's a hugely transitional scene for the character and one that sets a course for everything that follows. So if you did have Mace return, you could minimize the impact of Anakin's transition from Anakin Skywalker Jedi Knight to Darth Vader Sith Lord. Now overall, Hayden has been approving of Mace Windu's return, saying during the Kenobi press tour that if Sam Jackson says he's alive, then Mace Windu is alive. He's also stated that if Mace Windu did return and was handled properly, it could provide an incredible story, also adding that it makes a hell of a lot more sense than some of the other characters they've brought back. Now, in regards to the Star Wars fandom, it seems to be split pretty evenly. Like I mentioned before, a lot of people feel like if you did bring back Mace Windu, it could lessen Anakin's story, but others see it differently. They argue it would reinforce Anakin's fall, that even someone as powerful, disciplined, and unwavering as Mace Windu couldn't prevent what was coming, and that Anakin's choice didn't just kill a Jedi, it shattered Mace Windu's hope. And it also doesn't necessarily impact Anakin's fall because the galaxy still burned, the Jedi still fell, and the Chosen One still failed. And because of all this, if Mace Windu did return, he would most likely be a broken man. But we know if Mace Windu does return, it has to be done with care, with purpose, and with respect for the moment that changed Anakin Skywalker forever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want more Star Wars content, make sure you follow my channel. Also, I've been streaming Battlefront 2 over on Twitch pretty much every night recently, and I've been reposting the videos on YouTube. So if you want to catch me live on Twitch, my handle is SW Mandalore, and thanks for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you guys.